Welcome to Support Services to Seniors. Let's take a look at board governance. It's important to have a clear understanding of your role as a board member and the responsibilities of the board. All incorporated organizations must have a board of directors, but they're not all the same. Each board can have different financial and human resources to manage, may have distinctive organizational culture and expectations imposed on it by its members, constituencies, and users. And each board is unique and may vary considerably in size and complexity. The board must focus on the big picture and is oriented to the future of the organization. We've broken this down into 5 different areas. Legal authority comes from the Articles of Incorporation and the bylaws. This involves ensuring effective organizational operations, including making sure that the organization's legal affairs are in order and knowing the board's legal obligations. It includes following any government regulations and ensuring adherence to funding contract agreements and other commitments. The board's leadership role requires being aware of the issues and trends in the community and developing relationships on behalf of the organization. As leaders, board members should be representative of the community as a whole. They represent the organization and community and advocate for their priorities. They provide leadership in program planning and implementation and ensure that staff know policies and procedures. The board is responsible for the strategic direction of the organization. They need to establish, understand, and be guided by the mission, purpose, and direction, and create the plan to get there. The board will create and regularly review and update policies and procedures, as well as revisiting and updating the mission and vision. The board determines and monitors the organization's programs and services to make sure that they're in keeping with the strategic direction. The board is responsible for decision-making, which includes ensuring adequate human and financial resources for the work of the organization and acquiring sufficient resources to finance the delivery of service. In order to do this, the board members must understand the organization's business model and make decisions that are sustainable within that context. Other oversight responsibilities of the board include recruiting and supporting the executive director and reviewing their performance, being accountable to the public for the organization's services and expenditures, and management of the organization and its personnel, and evaluating whether or not objectives are being met. It's important that the board members understand their responsibilities and let the staff handle the day-to-day operations. Aside from the board of directors, there may be other committees. Committee structures will vary from one organization to the next, depending on the board's style of governance, as well as the nature and needs of the organization. We'll take a quick look at some types of committees you may see, starting with the Executive Committee. This committee oversees the operation of the boards. It acts on behalf of the board on activities and matters between board meetings and later presented at board meetings. The board chair resides over this committee. A Finance Committee oversees the development of the budget, ensures monitoring and accountability for funds, recommends financial policies to the board, ensures adequate financial controls, and is led by the treasurer. There may be a Human Resources Committee, which guides, reviews, and authorizes the overall policies for paid staff and volunteers. They may be responsible for interviewing the executive director and coordinating their evaluation. There may be a Program Committee, which guides the development of service delivery and evaluation of the services, and who may link between board and staff on program activities. There may be a Public Relations or Marketing Committee, which represents the organization to the community and enhances the organization's image. There may be a Nominating Committee, which identifies, recruits, and suggests potential new board members. There may be ad hoc committees formed to handle specific issues or goals that do not fall within the function of an existing standing committee. The board will determine the ad hoc committee. And there may be advisory committees. These committees are often composed largely of people from outside the organization, to provide guidance and expertise regarding a particular issue. This committee advises the board of directors and is not a final decision maker. At this point, we've mostly talked about the roles of the board at large. Let's take a moment to take a look at the code of conduct for individuals within a board. Individual responsibilities include those around care, such as active participation, attending meetings, being informed, following through on made commitments, accepting leadership roles as required, and expressing your thoughts while respecting others' opinions. Loyalty, which means disclosing conflicts of interest, keeping the well-being of the organization at heart, representing the organization well, and encouraging others to be involved and use their skills. And regulations. This means being respectful of the rules of order, respecting confidentiality, following bylaws and other regulations, and adhering to the rules in your job description. Sometimes people don't completely understand their role, so a clearly written job description increases clarity. Each board member, including the committee chair, should have a clear job description. The board chair or president is the chief officer of the organization. They preside at and call all meetings of the board of directors and are responsible for the overall direction of the board. This person is ex officio member of all of the committees of the board. The vice chair or vice president assumes the chair or president's duties if they are unable to do so. The secretary keeps the minutes and records, prepares and sends out notices of all meetings and the minutes of all meetings, and keeps the correspondence, contracts, and other records, and ensures that an annual return is filed. The treasurer prepares the financial statements, supervises spending, including signing authority, and presents financial statements to the board of directors meetings. They work with an accountant to prepare the year-end statement, financial review or audit, and presents the year-end review at the annual general meeting. The past chair or president supports the current chair of the board and chairs the nominating committee to recruit new board members. They also assist with board training. There are also some important documents that you should know about. Important documents include the Articles of Incorporation, which state the name of the organization, purpose or mission, place of business, officers, and directors. This gives the organization a business number. The bylaws indicate the board's overall specifications of how board and organization will operate, including basic rules and structure to carry on the business of the organization. They should be reviewed annually. When disagreements arise on your board, the bylaws should provide the solution. Meeting place documents, such as a land title, property taxes, or lease agreements, and insurance, which may include directors' and officers' liability insurance, building insurance. Other documents that need to be maintained include the minutes of board meetings. These should be kept forever. Financial reports from board meetings, which need to be kept for 7 years. Reports from the annual general meeting, and legal agreements, such as funding agreements. This includes the service purchase agreements, which are the funding agreement between the agency and the regional health authority. These documents outline the services or programs funded, including the performance deliverables and financial reporting requirements. Thank you for joining us for this introduction to board governance. You can access the Resources for Service Providers Board Governance Orientation Toolkit at this website address for much more information.